Hey everybody, it's Frankie and welcome to K Comics. Today we'll be covering Thor, Son of Asgard, which was published on 2004 by Marvel, of course. It was originally supposed to be a limited series, but due to popular demands, it was later extended to an ongoing series that lasted for only 12 issues in total. Okay, so basically I'll be covering each issue in this series and make sure I take the shortest amount of time in doing so, but in a detailed manner. So this issue was written by Akira Yoshida and penciled by Greg Tocchini. And without wasting my time, let's dive right in. So this really picks up in Asgard, and I mean it's said in the title Son of Asgard. So this is mainly an Asgardian story, so bear with me here. So in Asgard, in order to enter the city, you need to go through Hamda, who has to give you the passage or the permission in order to get into the city. But once you get into the city of Asgard, every road leads to the All-Father Square, where everything is held, all ceremonies, meetings, and even celebrations after wars and everything is held. And this place is close to the Imperial Palace, where Odin sits and where Odin rules pretty much all of Asgard from. And even though Odin's wisdom is vast, he has a cabinet of advisors who assist him in the day-to-day affairs of the kingdom. And it also has an elite members of warriors who assist him in keeping peace and also protecting the people of Asgard from external threats. And also, if you happen to stumble on Asgard, then it's an ass whooping that you're gonna get like right then and there. But the thing is that with Odin's influence, his attention is required in many realms, even outside the 9 realms that we know he is supposed to protect. And even with his vast knowledge, some of the things that seems to be close to him manages to slip him, which will be clear in a moment. But after that, we then see Thor, who has snuck into Odin's trophy room with Sif and Border, and this room is really big and it's really packed with a lot of stuff. So being the stuffs of Odin as trophies this really says a lot about Odin. But basically Thor is trying to burst muscles in attempt to lift Mjolnir, which is not worthy to lift it is. And bear in mind, this is the one of the youngest version of Thor. He's like he's really young. I would say probably 15 years or something. I'm just joking. He's just really young. But with Thor being depressed about how he couldn't lift Mjolnir, Sif and Border has to comfort him, telling him that he's still the prince of Asgard and he will get to rule Asgard and everything. But also in the case of the hammer, Sif knows that Thor will one day be worthy of lifting Mjolnir. Of course, which Thor also knows that he might be one day worthy of wielding Mjolnir, but his initial thought was like, why wouldn't I be worthy like today or tomorrow? Like that seems like far into the future. And with saying all this, Sif was really being eaten by the fact that Mjolnir states that if he be worthy, shall possess the power of. And she's a female, so does it mean that she may never get to wield Mjolnir? And if you're reading this or listening to this in 2020, then you know that Jane Foster got to wield Mjolnir and became Thor. So this problem might be like nothing. And this is where Thor kind of implied that it might be a lazy attitude or a lazy statement from Odin, or maybe he didn't want to use more ink in his statement. And so rest assured, the enchantment on Mjolnir is not sexist. I just want to put that one out there. And Thor lets her know that the enchantment on Mjolnir stems from you being worthy. So it doesn't really matter if you are a female or a male. If you are worthy, then you can be able to lift Mjolnir, which everyone in Asgard should be worthy of lifting Mjolnir because they all have pure hearts, right? But Sif cannot disagrees with Thor because there's Loki and he's in Asgard, and we all know Loki. He's the king, he's the prince of mischief, and wherever there's Loki, there's trouble. Basically saying there's no way Loki would be able to lift Mjolnir. And I'll just say, wait until you see the future. And while this was happening, we know Loki is hiding behind the tapestry and he was listening on everything, and he wasn't really happy about what Sif and the rest are saying about him. Even though Thor defends him, Loki just found some three spiders and then transformed them into giant arachnids and forced them into fighting the three assholes. And with teamwork, they quickly dispatched these foes, and after that, they were met with the arrival of Odin, who had heard everything, and he was like, he thought every Asgard was under attack, so that's why he's here. And upon his arrival, they thought he was about to punish them because they had broke into his trophy room, but that wasn't the case. He was rather impressed to see them in action, and then later on he called them to meet with him at sunset. And Odin, he knew that Loki was behind all this thing. Like, little things like this doesn't escape Odin. And we know how, because when they met with him at sunset, Odin basically asked them if they were ready to show their courage or show if they're worthy to save Asgard itself. And Thor, upon hearing to show if you're worthy, was like, yeah! Basically, he just wants to prove to his father that he's worthy of lifting Mjolnir. Somehow, something like that, something along the line. But Loki was excluded and was asked to go do a mop job. Basically, Odin told him to find a mop and then mop his trophy room, because, as him and Odin knows that giant arachnids don't appear from thin air, from nowhere, and this is where we know he knows. Loki knows, he knows. And also, when Odin asked Thor why he would speak for his friends, he was like, I'm kind of like their leader, and these dudes are like kind of my bitches, so whatever I say, they do. What I do, they do. Where I go, they follow like the bitches they are, And Odin's initial response was like, yeah, I'm proud of you, son. You have bitches just like I do. That's so funny. He didn't really say that, but he was proud to see Thor be the leader in their little gang. But basically, Odin is trying to make an enchanted weapon, a sword basically, so he needs like 4 items that he will use in the sword to make the sword very, very powerful, and also bestow it upon the Asgardian warrior who deserves it. And these elements are meant to make the weapon formidable. So first, they will have to go to Nashtond and retrieve a skill from the hide of a dragon called Hukure, which is meant to make the blade unbreakable. From there, they'll have to go to Jotunheim and pluck a feather from a wing of a snow eagle named Nori, which is supposed to make the weapon light and swift in motion. And then they'll go to Jenna and unearth a jewel from deep in the mines, which is supposed to make the weapon maintain its balance. And then their last quest will be to Lilithar, where they will have to draw a small vial of an enchanted water from the lake Lilithar, which is supposed to make the sword stay ever pure. But with all this happening, we know Loki is still lurking around, listening to what is happening between Thor, Sif and Balder and Odin. And so the journey with Thor and his friends was to start the next day at dawn. And there was this person in the dark who was listening and watching their every move, and it's not really made clear who that is, but in the next issue or the next issues to come, everything should be made clear. And it is kind of implied that this mysterious figure is going to be influencing Thor on their journey. Voila! Make sure you like this channel if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel so that whenever I drop a new video, you'll be the first person to know. The second issue should be dropping like the next day or 2 days from this publishing date, so make sure you check out for the second issue. Peace.